Yeah, no, just really proud of the guys. You know, when you kind of digest the stats of it all, and I didn't realize we were up 23 in the heat of the moment. I know we were playing well, but you know, up 23 and they cut it to 2 or whatever it was, and you know, it's a lot easier, a lot more calm to win big, but they're good. I think they're really good, and obviously they have a special player. He's really good. And so I watched him play CSU earlier in the year. CSU is as good as anybody in the country, and they couldn't guard him. You know, it's the same thing when he comes down the stretch. He's been in those situations. He's going to make those shots. And so to get to the 84, 82, I think is what it was, and to make, you know, get the stops that we got, I thought was great. So a ton of great individual performances. You know, the start of the game for Saint was phenomenal until he got popped in the face. He still had a great game, but when he gets in those heaters, there's no telling when it's going to stop. So it's unfortunate that he got hit in the face and we had to take him out for a little bit and recalibrate him, but he was awesome. Brock Wisney, great game. Then you look at, you know, Jaron Riley, that he had 30s last game, and then tonight he had 10 assists. You know, I thought he did a good job. Really proud of DeJour Reeves. First game back, he had one practice in 13 days because he was gone for the break. Then he had the first practice, then he got hurt. So he's only had one practice in 13 days. So when we got him cleared yesterday, I sat down and talked to him and said, hey, like, are you ready mentally and physically? And he said, yeah, for sure. But then he also said, Coach, man, like, I'm not trying to disrupt anything either. We're rolling. So, like, Zach's playing great. So just in the sense, you know, guys worrying about who's starting and the things that tear teams apart, we just don't have that. We got a bunch of guys that are bought in. So it's a great effort. I have a lot of respect for DU. I think they're very good. I think they're very well coached. And to come out of there with the win is great.
One of the things we talked about early in the year, Coach, was your depth. And I think that's playing a big part of the team's success lately. Talk about the bench, you know, particularly today having DeJour Reeves come off the bench, as well as Reynolds, who had 23 of your 29 bench.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I think we kind of go back to the CU game. And we got crushed in the first half. They're awesome. But in the second half, that game was 42-41. Made a few adjustments, moved Langston more to like a 3-4, and just let him kind of roll through with Riley and Saint. Just out of kind of necessity, just try something. And it kind of opened us up in the second half. And so with that, and then kind of our main 3 guards with Jaron, DeJour, and Zach, those guys, and then obviously Brock and Theo, those 8 guys, we rolled that into Air Force, and it worked. So, you know, after that, everyone got hurt, so it kind of changed some things. But, you know, we kind of figured out what our lineup is. But a guy like Juju Ramirez, that not only tonight, I mean, those 2 buckets were huge, but against North Dakota, Theo goes out, and he went out in the game against Northern Arizona. We didn't even know he was hurt till the next day. Juju's like, hey, be ready to go. And you always say all these coaching cliches, be ready when your number's called, and you don't know if the kids listen to it or not. Juju did, because he came out, and he helped us so much in that North Dakota game, and he was great tonight again. So that's just one example. But, yeah, Lang's been awesome. You know, he's really doing some great things. He got hurt today. He's fine, but we had to take him out with, you know, like a knee contusion or something like that. And so just different guys coming in ready to play. It's been great.
Coach, you just mentioned one of the questions was Juju Ramirez, though, not only the 4 points, but I thought he made maybe the defensive play of the game where he broke up the alley-oop lob.
Huge.
Then he runs the rim and gets the bucket on the other end. I think that was the goaltend call.
Yep.
But the ability for him to, as you mentioned, keep his head in the game, where he's had a lot of DNPs over the last couple of years.
Yes.
For him to be able, crunch time, big time minutes, make that defensive play, that's a special kid right there to be ready when he's
I'm telling you, man, it's hard. You know, a lot of us have played, and just when you don't know if you're coming in or not, and then you don't come in for multiple games, it's hard, you know, as a player. And I've said it from the beginning, and I felt it, but I do think it's true that I think we have like 12 guys that are legitimate. You can play not just 5 minutes, you can play 20 minutes, but you can't play 12 guys. You know, you can play 8, 9, maybe 9.5 guys. And so you look at the contributions Mekhi Cameron's had. You look at the contributions Marcel McCurry had against Air Force. You know, Juju's kind of that last guy to step in and have a huge contribution. Connor Creech has had huge contributions. And I know they all want to play more. And as a coach, and like even as a dad, like my kid plays, it tears your heart out to know how hard guys are working and they don't get to see the rewards. It's awful. But they're bought into it. They understand, and I think this team is so much more about that cause over self. Like, hey, we're here to win games. So they've done a great job, but they've all produced when they've gotten the opportunity, and that's awesome.
This is a good segue into the unselfish play. 2-to-1 assist turnover ratio today, 21 assists. and it's something you guys struggle with early in the year, creating shots for each other, and also having shot makers in there. Talk about the maturation on that side of the basketball in terms of now creating shots for them and having the ability to make shots.
Well, and that's another great stat, both the 21-11, but also 21 assists on 35 made shots. It's crazy. Like, I mean, that's like 65% of all your made shots are assisted. Like, that is a high number right there. And so I just, you look at it if you want to get, real statty and stuff. I mean, once Jaren has enough games played in the Big Sky, he'll be eligible for the stats. You have to be in 75% of the games. He'll be number one by a landslide. Saint's like fourth. So you have like two of the top 4 or 5 guys in the league in sharing and assisting. You know what that is? That's a happy team. So you got a real happy team because, again, it's demoralizing too sometimes where, you're playing defense, you're this and that, especially for big guys like Brock, but you never touch the ball. But the way that our team is constructed and the unselfish play of all of our guys, it just makes it really fun. I think it really connects these guys. So it's a pretty special crew that way.
St. Thomas, you mentioned, was off the charts electric to start the game, but his last couple games, 23 points in each game, kind of a bounce-back game from playing just 6 minutes against Northern Arizona in the conference opener. He's been really good, and again, double-double type performance tonight. But just talk a little bit about him and how he's kind of become a leader of this team.
Oh, he really is, and that's the thing is that as Saint goes, we go, and that's more so like in a practice situation that I'm telling you, like, people don't get to see us behind the scenes, right? But he is an everyday guy, and he plays so hard, and his energy and his juice, it's contagious, right? And so, and he's great because we have some other guys that really do lead by example, but they're a little bit more introverted. They don't have as loud of a voice. Now, he does, though, right? Like, he's going to get out there, he's just going to bring a lot of energy. And so I just look at how well he's played these last 2 games, but it doesn't surprise me. He's done it all year long, and he's a guy that I think he's really good. I think he's as good as any player in our league, and I think he's going to contend for all those awards. But again, he didn't really care about those awards. He wants to win. He was more mad than anybody when we got to 4 and 6. He's like, this isn't a losing program. Like in practice, like he was so mad. It's like, yeah, we got to go win, and we got to do it one at a time. But winning really matters to him.
Talk about Brock Wisney. I think he gets often overlooked, but it's very important to your team.
Oh, yeah.
Me being a former coach, I know when I know somebody's very important to your team, but he gets often overlooked. Talk about his improvement, having his career high tonight as well. But talk about how important he is to you guys.
Well, he's great, and he's also, like, this is a traditional stat line from 8 for 12. He usually shoots like 60, 70%. And he had a stretch where he was struggling. For the first time in his career, he wasn't finishing as well. But it never affected his effort, his attitude, his energy, things like that. But, man, he was awesome. And so when all else fails, and everyone knows that we space out and we run ball screens, but when all else fails, we can just run some very basic stuff and give him the ball. And if you don't double him, he's really hard to guard in the post. And the same goes for Saint and some other guys. But, in that second half where we did that little deal where he gets the catch and gets the right block, and it's like, hey, you can switch him or not. He got that layup, and then they tried to cheat it. He took that shot from about 16 feet and just banged. I was like, oh, buddy. But it was a big hit for him, and he can shoot. I was glad to see him hit the 3 because, we've had some stuff where we try to get him some threes. We haven't seen the fruits of that labor yet, but the work ethic he puts into it, he can shoot. And so for him to hit that 3 in the first half is big too.
4 straight wins, going on a road trip in conference, Montana State coming up. How do you feel about getting back on the road and going up to a couple tough places to play?
I love it. You go and play everybody twice at home on the road. You know what I mean? We've just won some huge road games with Air Force and with North Dakota. So, like, the roads are whatever to us, and it's going to be a great challenge, starting with Montana one at a time. But I just think the place that our guys are in, as long as we have a good week of practice, stay healthy, stay rested, we're excited about the challenge.